PostgreSQL 19 has security changes that will break your workflow if you are not ready. Connect with an MD5 password, you get a deprecation warning. Every single login. In the server log. In the client output. It works, but the message is clear: migrate now. Try to create a new MD5 password blocked. Error. Cannot do it. Password encryption equals MD5 is gone from PG19. Have radius in your PG_HBA.conf? It will not start. Radius authentication is completely removed. Not deprecated. Gone. And standard conforming strings is now hard-coded to on and read only. Backslash is always a literal character. You cannot turn it off. These are not optional changes. 3 of them are breaking. Let me walk you through each one, and show you exactly how to prepare. 6 security changes in 13 slides. MD5 deprecation, the 4-version sunset timeline and exactly what PG19 does differently from PG18. Radius removal, completely gone, and the 4 migration paths. String escapes, standard conforming strings hard-coded, escape string warning removed. OAuth improvements, custom validator options, failure details, CA file configuration. Name sanitization, CR/LF characters banned from database and role names. And the complete pre-upgrade audit checklist. Stay to slide 11, I will give you every query you need to audit your cluster before upgrading. Let me show you the full MD5 sunset timeline. This is a 4-version phase-out, and we are at step 2. PG18, released in 2025, MD5 marked as deprecated. Documentation warnings added. Create role and alter role warn when setting MD5 passwords. But everything still works. PG19, this year, 2 changes. First, a warning is issued after every successful MD5 authentication. Not just when you set the password, when you log in. Every login. Second, you can no longer create new MD5 passwords. Password encryption equals MD5 is removed. Pre-hashed MD5 passwords are also rejected. PG20, expected 2027, authentication with MD5 passwords will be blocked entirely. You can upgrade with them, but they will not work for login. You must reset to Scram after upgrade. PG21, expected 2028, cannot even upgrade with MD5 passwords. All MD5 support removed from the codebase. Why the urgency? MD5 hashes are vulnerable to pass-the-hash attacks. If an attacker gets the hash and knows the username, they can authenticate. Scram SHA-256 uses challenge response with salting. The hash alone is not enough. It has been available since PG10 9 versions ago. 2 specific changes in PG19. First, a warning after every MD5 login. Look at the terminal. You connect, enter your password, and get, warning MD5 password authentication is deprecated. Hint: use Scram SHA-256 instead. The connection succeeds, but this appears in both the client output and the server log. Every login. You can silence it with MD5 password warnings equals off. I do not recommend this. The warning exists to remind you to migrate. Second, you cannot create new MD5 passwords. Alter role legacy app with password. If password encryption was set to MD5, this now fails with an error. The password encryption option MD5 is removed entirely. Pre-hashed MD5 passwords, the ones that start with the MD5 prefix, are also rejected. The important nuance: existing MD5 passwords still work for authentication. You have until PG20 to migrate. But you cannot create new ones starting now. Migrating from MD5 to Scram takes 3 steps and about 10 minutes per cluster. Step 1. Find MD5 users, query pg_authid and look for password hashes starting with MD5. Step 2. Set the Scram default password encryption equals scram-SHA-256 in PostgreSQL.conf, then pg_reload_conf. Step 3. Reset each password with alter role. With password, the hash is stored as scram-SHA-256 automatically. Important detail: Scram requires client library support. All major drivers have had it since around 2019. lib 10, scop 22.8, JDBC 42.2, Node Postgres 8, Go PGX4. Radius authentication is completely removed from PostgreSQL 19. Not deprecated. Not warning. Gone. If you have a radius line in pg_hba.conf and upgrade to PG19, the server will not accept connections on that line. It is a fatal error. Why remove? PostgreSQL only supported radius over UDP. Radius over UDP relies on MD5 for packet integrity. The blast radius vulnerability published in 2024 confirmed that this is unfixably insecure. The radius standards body itself deprecated radius over UDP and mandated radius over TLS, which PostgreSQL never implemented. Here are your 4 migration paths. Most common, LDAP. Most radius deployments have an LDAP backend. Connect PostgreSQL to LDAP directly with LDAP authentication in pg_hba.conf. Enterprise, XAPI or Kerberos. For Active Directory environments. Mutual authentication, ticket-based, no passwords over the wire. If you must keep radius, PAM-based radius. Use PAM authentication with the PAM_radius_auth module. This works on Linux and FreeBSD. Not on Windows. Strongest option, certificate authentication. Client presents an SSL certificate. No passwords at all. Standard_conforming_strings is now hard-coded to on and read-only in PG19. This means backslash is always a literal character in regular string literals. Select hello \n world returns the literal string with a backslash and the letter n. Not a new line. If you want actual escape sequences, use the e-string prefix. Hello \n world returns hello, new line, world. This has been the correct way since PG 8.1 over 20 years ago. You cannot set standard_conforming_strings to off. It is read-only. If your application depends on this setting, it will break. Also removed, the escape_string_warning GUC. Since strings always conform to the SQL standard, the warning is unnecessary. Who is affected? Legacy applications that explicitly set standard_conforming_strings to off. Very old ORMs from before 2010. Handwritten SQL that uses backslash escapes without the E prefix. How to test before upgrading. On PG18, set standard_conforming_strings to on and escape_string_warning to off, then run your test suite. Any failures reveal code that needs fixing. PG18 introduced OAuth 2.0 authentication. PG19 makes it production grade. 3 improvements. First, custom validator HBA options. Validator modules can now register their own pg_hba.conf options. Look at the config validator.tenant equals prod, validator.require_mfa equals true. These are custom options that the validator module defines. Multi-tenant deployments can pass tenant IDs and MFA requirements directly in the HBA line. Second, failure details. Validators can now set error_detail in the validator module result structure. Instead of a generic OAuth validation failed, you get specific messages: token expired, scope not granted, audience mismatch. This makes production debugging possible. Third, OAuth_ca_file. You can now specify the CA certificate for the OAuth issuer directly in PostgreSQL.conf or via the PostgreSQL environment variable. And PGOAUTHDBUG can now specify specific debug options instead of the all-or-nothing unsafe mode. These are the changes that move OAuth from experimental to enterprise-ready. For more security hardening changes worth knowing, carriage returns and line feeds are now banned from database, role, and table space names. PG_upgrade will refuse to upgrade clusters with such names. This closes a class of log injection and header injection attacks where attackers could embed new lines in names to manipulate log parsers. pget threadlock added to libc for safer multi-threaded client applications. The service file connection parameter allows specifying a custom pg_service.conf path. Useful for containerized deployments with mounted config files. And event triggers can now be written in PL/Python. Previously limited to PL/PGSQL and C. This opens DDL auditing, schema governance, and security policy enforcement to Python. Here is the authentication method comparison table. PG18 to PG19. Scram SHA-256, unchanged, recommended, default since PG14. MD5, was deprecated in PG18, now warns on login in PG19 and blocks new password creation. Certificate authentication, unchanged, the strongest option, no passwords at all. Radius, was available in PG18, completely removed in PG19. Use LDAP, XAPI, CERT, or PAM instead. OAuth, available in PG18, improved in PG19 with custom options, error details, and CA file support. XAPI, LDAP, PAM, PEER, all unchanged and stable. The direction is clear. PostgreSQL is converging on Scram for passwords, certificates for services, OAuth for enterprise identity, and XAPI for Active Directory. Everything else is being removed or deprecated. Here are the audit queries I promised. Run these before PG_upgrade to PG19. Query 1, find all MD5 password users. Select role name from PG_authid where role canlogin and role password like MD5%. Query 2, grep your PG_HBA.conf for radius. Query 3, check for CR/LF in names, database names, role names, table space names. These three queries will catch the names PG_upgrade will reject. Query 4, test string conformance. Set standard_conforming_strings to on and escape_string_warning to off on PG18. Run your full test suite. Query 5, check client driver versions for Scram support. The order matters. Fix MD5 passwords and radius first, these are the most disruptive. String escapes second. CR/LF names third, PG_upgrade will block on these. Run your full test suite before attempting the upgrade. 6 security changes. 3 breaking, 3 improving. Breaking, MD5 warns on every login and blocks new passwords, migrate to Scram now. Radius removed entirely, use LDAP, XAPI, CERT, or PAM. String escapes hard-coded / is always literal. Improving, OAuth gets custom validator options and failure details. CR/LF banned from names. PL/Python event triggers for DDL auditing. The direction is clear, migrate now, not later. PG20 blocks MD5 authentication entirely. If this helped you, subscribe for weekly PostgreSQL deep dives. Comment secure and I will put the audit queries and Scram migration script in the pinned comment.